the record button. This is a Feast of Hearing, 1/2-hour radio program. These are the legends of audio alchemy. From the far side of the record button. Listen, and you will hear sounds and addresses. Your mailbox can open a new realm of adventure.
This is Brian Ladd of Ladd Frith in Eureka, California. That mysterious group of individuals that release tapes.
From the Audio Alchemy interview series, the voice of Brian Ladd of Ladd Frith, Post Office Box 967, Eureka, California 95502.
Well, we use cassettes to make music. In other words, we use a lot of tapes in our music. We use tape loops, tape effects. And we record this music on the cassettes. And we take these cassettes and we record the music that's on the cassettes onto other cassettes and send them out to people who might be interested. People who are involved with magazines, radio, record labels, people who like music. When I was growing up, I never had a cassette deck. All my friends had cassette decks. I never had one. I finally got one when I was about 19 or 20, and I fell in love with it. Started taping all the records I could, and then we started becoming more actively involved with music on a recording basis, and the cassettes became our recording studio, or I should say the cassette decks became our recording studio. And everything that we did, we just put it on cassette because we wanted to always keep a document of what we've done. And I guess we started getting involved in the cassette thing seriously at about 1980 or 81 when we got a nice JVC recording deck. And now we've grown. Like I said, we have 20 tapes out and working on more. And we have 3 standard cassette decks, stereo cassette decks, ones like you have at home. We don't have a 4-track or anything like that. And I guess that's how we got started. Well, we started sending tapes out, tapes of our own things, to magazines and like op and radio stations and things like that. And our contacts just started growing and growing, and that's how we got started. Well, we really like tape loops. We think that that's totally wonderful. All different kinds of tape loops, short tape loops and long tape loops. And telephone answering things. I don't know. Some of the best ideas for utilizing cassettes, making cassette letters like this, doing cassette interviews, trading ideas, playing music that you like for other people. You don't have to be in a band. Send someone a cassette letter. it might hurt somebody's royalties somewhere, I guess, if a million people taped another million people's Michael Jackson record. I guess Michael would be a little upset or something, but I don't know. You know, at the point we are right now, I'd be happy if people traded our music with other people, you know. Obviously, it's something that they'd like, and they would try to tell their friends about it. And I think that that's okay. As far as, like, taking a cassette of ours and taking the cover and Xeroxing it and dubbing the tapes and selling them or trading them or something, I don't know, I don't think that's really fair because it's a cheap reproduction of what we do. If there was some quality behind it, maybe it would be a little bit different. You know, maybe some people do. I don't know. I'm not really aware of anybody bootlegging our tapes or anything like that. taping other people's tapes. I don't see anything wrong with that, you know. I mean, if you have the equipment to do it, who's going to stop you? And as long as you're not selling the stuff and making a profit on it, I don't see that there's any problem there.
This is a feast of hearing.
Sharing ideas with similar-minded people and sharing contact addresses and information. I think that's the big thing, sharing information to people who are doing what you do, people who have helped you. It's good to help your friends, right? When we first started out, I think that we'd be more what you'd call networking. We did a lot of trading. We would do anything to get people to hear our music. Now it's gotten to the point where we have so many contacts and so many people that we write to that we can barely afford the postage to send tapes to these people, or even send replies to these people, even postcards. We get so much mail that we spend a lot of money sending out mail, put it that way. We can't really afford to trade with anyone anymore, and some people think we're stuck up, but we have so many people request to trade music with us. You know, I can't send out 15 tapes a week free to people. I mean, some of the stuff I get back might be good, but I just can't afford to spend that much money on tapes that we're not making money on. And it's a sign of success, and it's also a sign of too much work and not enough money, not enough time. It's happy and sad at the same time. So I guess we're involved with networking, though, through Object Magazine, because we do review a lot. We don't review all the things we get, but we review a lot of the things we get, and the things we get are obscure. They're not your typical run-of-the-mill things, and we always provide contact addresses, and sometimes we provide price information so people can just go ahead and send their money. And I guess in that way we are still involved with networking, because a lot of people have said, oh, I came in contact with such and such by having my tape reviewed in your magazine. And I think that's great. So I guess we still are involved with networking, but on a different scale than when we first started.
It's one of these genocides undesignated U.S. God. 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 It's one of these genocides undesignated U.S. God.
So I think that these are some good utilizations for cassettes, actually. To go back to number 2. This one, we were driving around in San Francisco. We played there in June, and we were driving around with a tape machine in a car and an empty loop, and we got some Iranian protesters, and so here they are, Iranian protesters with a bullhorn.
Genocide undesignated U.S. God. It's one of these genocides undesignated U.S. God.
Okay, so another good thing to use cassettes for is just when you're sitting around before a show like last week, and Greg's all freaked out, and you want to kid him about his great big circle of worry.
Nothing. No, it's not in this big circle of worry. Nothing. No, it's not in this big circle of worry. Nothing. No, it's not in this big circle of worry.
And we also have a variable speed cassette deck,
No, it's not in this big circle of worry.
so we change the speeds on the tape.
No, it's not in this big circle of worry.
And we can even use cassettes when we play live and change the loops, like this.
Stop the play!
This is from a show
Stop the play!
at the Viz Club in San Francisco. we can change them while we play live. So that's another good thing about tapes is, I guess, loops. I guess that's the neatest thing about tapes. Well, I guess, I don't know. There's all sorts of things you could do with tapes. They're wonderful. Okay. People used to think cassettes were, you know, really raw and terrible and, you know, the most minimal way you could ever listen to music, you know. And what are cassettes any good for, you know, except to record records on, you know, and you listen to them in your car. But the cassettes really sound good nowadays. The machines are getting better. Now they have these 4-track cassette machines. We don't have one, but it's a neat idea. I think that cassettes are becoming more and more accepted. And I think the technology regarding cassettes is getting better and better, and the prices are getting lower and lower. So I think that everything's looking up. What technology surrounding cassettes? Well, I guess, you know, a lot of people think that you have to have a 4-track cassette to be any good, or have a reel or something like that. But cassettes are getting better and better, and we get pretty, I'd say, outstanding results with just standard cassette machines. And we have mini mixers. We don't really have a mixer. We have a 4-in, 1-out mini mixer. And my article on home recording was is pretty much self-describes, you know, that whole thing. We make a few bucks on every cassette we sell. I don't know. You do make a good product, and you put out a nice catalog, and you hope that people review your music, and that's how you make money selling cassettes. It takes money to send them around. It takes money to make money. I wish we had more money for advertising. We don't. We have to rely on word of mouth, but word of mouth has been really good to us. And make money? Boy, I don't know. I guess you send your stuff to a record label and they give you an advance. I don't know. We don't make very much money, that's for sure. Especially when you consider all the amount of postage and all that, you know, the promo stuff. We put out a catalog and we send a catalog around to people, and that's about it. That's how we make money.
From the Audio Alchemy interview series, the voice of Brian Ladd, of Ladd Frith, Post Office Box 967, Eureka, California 95502. This has been a feast of hearing from Cassette Mythos. Processing by Patrick Mell. A Feast of Hearing is an audio arts sampler radio series from Cassette Mythos. We would like to hear from you. Please send tapes and correspondence to Cassette Mythos, Post Office Box 2391, Olympia, Washington 98507.